Hello, welcome to Bros and Sweet Talk. I am Mia. We have the lovely Jay here, and we have a guest today that we are so excited to have on, Miss India Hall, entrepreneur of Entrepreneurs of the DMV. We are so glad you're here with us today, India, to talk to us about all things entrepreneur and different streams of income and how you've risen in your real estate career. And I know you have different hands in different other pots. And so it's something in our community that we don't talk about enough. And I thought that you would be I'm tongue-tied, excuse me. You'd be the perfect guest to come on and talk with us about being an entrepreneur and all the different things that you have your hands in.
So thank you guys for having me. I'm super excited to be here, Jay and Mia.
Thank you.
So yeah, I am India Hall, branded the Ultimate Realtor, but I have a brand of ultimates. So I have my hands like literally in everything. Mainly my focus has been real estate. I am a licensed real estate agent and I have been for 18 years. I serve Maryland and Washington, DC.
Okay. And how are you a full-time agent, part-time agent?
I am a full-time agent and I'm super excited to be a full-time agent. And so I do residential real estate sales. I also do investment, so invest in properties, so flipping and buying and holding and property management, and also like holds. So rental properties, I have rental properties. So landlord, lots of hats.
Have you ever thought about doing
the real estate umbrella.
Have you ever thought about doing commercial?
I get people who ask, I have people who want to buy businesses. So like I had a former, my old neighbor wanted to buy, he had gas stations and a couple of them, he wanted to buy a convenience store and he reached out. So that's not right now my area of expertise, but I have actually been, it's something that I want to keep like open, but right now my heart is in residential real estate, wanting to get people to, buy, sell, and invest in real estate, and kind of that's my umbrella.
And own. What would be one of the biggest, tips or advice you would give for someone who's thinking about being an entrepreneur per se? So I'll put a spin on it. Most people, I would think, or this is just my thought, is that, oh, I want to be a millionaire. So I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna start this cookie shop and I'm gonna become a millionaire, or I'm gonna go open a shoe store and I'm gonna become a millionaire. And my thought is, as being an entrepreneur myself, is you start with one business and you make 100,000, and then you take that money and you grow it into the next business, and that business makes 150,000. Now your net worth is 250. Then you take that money and go into the next one, and that's how you baby step to a millionaire. What would be your advice when people say, hey, I'm gonna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna start making t-shirts and I'm gonna be a millionaire? Because everybody's excited the first week until they realize what people see, for example, they'll see me on Instagram and, oh, he's traveling all over the place. But they don't see you at 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm putting road signs out, literally 1 in the morning, because you and I know that's the first time you won't get hit by a car in the middle of the night. Just putting roads, and you don't necessarily do it 1 in the morning, but you know what I mean, out there, everybody's asleep. They don't see that part. They just see you on a jet ski.
Exactly, having a good time.
They see you living the life.
So to land that plane, what would you say when it comes, not just for the real estate side, but for business as an entrepreneur?
Just business in general, yeah.
How would you get started? Recommend someone get started?
Yeah. So people definitely don't see the blood, sweat, and tears, right? They all see the joy and they see you when you're winning, because that's kind of when you shine, like when you shine the most. Like, winning season for me is like right now, right? But people don't know where I came from, right? They don't see the history and the growth and the struggle it took me to get here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about the struggles for people that get defeated behind them and they give up.
Yeah.
Like, we need to stop giving up and keep pushing forward. What inspired you to keep going?
Yeah. So the thing is, you have to be dedicated to yourself. Like and being an entrepreneur is not easy. It's not, I'm going to get a couple t-shirts and sell a couple t-shirts. That's not going to sustain you. Like, right. You're going to be up, like Jay said, in the middle of the night, you're going to be strategizing, trying to figure out like how to do things differently, how to stand apart, you know, how to brand yourself so that people are, so that people want to, you know, do business with you, right? Yeah. And to know what you do. So like a lot of times people brand themselves, but like, you don't know exactly what they do. Like you want to brand yourself to what you're actually doing so that when people see that, they'll know exactly what they need you for, right? Right. But it's a lot of hard work. It's branding. So branding is what kind of, you know, what people remember you by, but marketing is how they find you, right? So you have to do a combination of both, but it's late nights, right? It's early mornings, it's weekends, right? Like I work on the weekends. When I was in corporate America, you know, I hated working on the weekends, but for myself, I don't mind, right? So it's a lot of that, and it's a lot, you have to have some reserve. You have to have basically what they call capital, but working capital. You have to have a cushion, not just for the business, but for yourself, because while you're taking yourself away from, you know, maybe what you're, so you have to be able to sustain yourself without income at times. And then there are going to be times in your, like if you, like for me, a real estate agent, in my traditional sales process, I'm not getting paid unless I get to the table, right? So what happens if I don't have a transaction for 2 months? Now I'm consistent with my stuff. I have my transactions, right? Like it's, you know, I have my flow of what I'm doing, and that's because, you know, I'm in that flow. Right. But there are times where that's a possibility. And so you have to be able to be prepared to be able to sustain yourself. And that's why it's also important to have multiple streams of income too, so that when you have those pauses and when you have those breaks, there are other things that you can do, or that's going to, like I said, sustain you to be able to move forward and carry forward. And you know, on those downtimes.
Yeah, versus you becoming desperate and just taking anything that comes your way. Yeah, you have to be prepared for the worst and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say about when it comes to communication? About, so say you're at ground zero and you're thinking about starting this business, and you know people will post all online on social media and all that sort of stuff. What would be your advice when it comes to talking about an idea or a business venture that you're thinking about going on, but have not quite stepped into it yourself yet?
So I say start, like for me, I don't need affirmation from other people, right? Mm-hmm. For me, I'm just gonna, if it's something that I want to do, and I believe that there's a market for it, meaning like a lot of people have, you know, so there's some people who have ideas, but there's not a market for what they're intending to do. So it kind of it's not helpful. You have to have a product that's going to be that the market is requesting, right? So, but you just have to be all in, right? I don't talk. Like, I'm not going to solicit information. I'm not going to solicit my ideas to people. I feel like I'm going to strategize. I'm going to ask the people that are closest to me what their opinion is. And then I'm going to execute. And execution is, for me, my execution is like grand opening. So by the time I'm executing, I'm already pretty much in. Like I've already, you know, I have my plan in place. You know, it's already done, right? I'm just moving on it, and now other people are seeing it. So I don't really solicit or share, because I want to be like, I'm actionable.
Right. Right. I would piggyback off. That's one thing that I've noticed about myself. So at first it was, and I actually posted a video of this when I was building my bar in the basement downstairs, and it had Will Smith in the background, and most people, you know, led by fear or affirmation of other people, and oh, you can't do that. You talk to half your friends, oh, you buying a boat? What are you doing? You buying a boat? But you've never been out at sea, forgetting all about. I was in the Navy actually. Or you know, you'll have those friends. Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
People will kill your dreams.
They will until they see you, to what your point was, till they actually see you shine. So you post a video and you got 10 people on a cruise and you're flying by the harbor. oh, now everybody wants to jump on board. They literally jump on board at that moment. And but again, they didn't see your execution and all that sort of stuff. And the years before getting to that loan table, getting approved. And
So, yeah.
So India, what does a support system look like for an entrepreneur such as yourself? I always hear people say, it's all about the people that you surround yourself with, right?
Yeah.
If you don't surround yourself with good people, you have those people that will persuade you not to follow your dreams, right? So what does your support system look like?
I actually think I have a very good support system. Like I really, really do. I have people around me that are positive, right? And they believe in me, right? And, I think you have to have that. And I think you have to have people who are going to tell you the hard truth, right? Like to be honest with you. So if it doesn't make sense, then they, or if, the people that are in your close network and you want to run something by them or say, oh, what does this sound like to you guys? And then they might come, with objections, not in a bad way, but to help you think through what the process might be. Right.
Right.
So those people are helpful. Mm-hmm. And you have to have that. So, I think I've always had a good support system. And I think that has helped me along the way. But also I'm very driven. So even if I didn't have the support, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I'm just saying, I will burn myself out at trying to figure out how I'm gonna execute something. Right. I'll bring one more, thing to the table. It's funny, I was just in my garage yesterday talking to a friend about this when it comes to taxes. And while I would presume that most of us on this call are not big Donald Trump fans, however, when he made the statement about, if you pay taxes, you're stupid, in some sense, once you make, and not to even get deep into our finances, I started at $10,000, $20,000 a year, $30,000. Those were, when I think about it, those were some of the best days of my life. I didn't have to pay much taxes. I wrote exempt for sometimes about 4. Right, exactly. But then when you start making more money and you realize, well, crap, meanwhile, I'm over here paying 20, 30, 40,000 in taxes. And Bonquisha is buying a helicopter, flying out on a helicopter.
I think
my question, my thing would be to people that want to even start a business. So we know plenty of people that have cameras and they take professional pictures, but they don't have a business. We know event planners that they do event planning for people, but they're not official. They don't have an entity, LLC, or, something like that to separate them, their personal from their business. I always tell people, start that. It takes you about 10 to 15 minutes to go through the state, start your business, open up your business bank accounts, and you are legit in the IRS eyes having a business. And when it comes to when people say, oh, you bought that new iPhone, that's a business write-off. That whole $1,400 is a write-off on top of the bill, on top of this home office, on top of your vehicle miles, on top of the gas, on top of all of that sort of stuff. When people start to say, in my opinion, that, oh, it takes a lot to start a business, but then you start complaining about paying taxes and all this other sort of stuff. Not giving Donald Trump any credit or any Bezos or any Mark Zuckerberg.
$700, Jay. Let's
say again.
What was it? He paid like $700.
Bezos doesn't pay much of anything at all.
Well,
I got like 20 Amazon packages right here on the floor.
Yeah, but that's it. But that's the part where we look. We can be on this call all day talking.
I know, and we got but come on, 5 minutes.
We got 5 minutes, so we're not going to get all into that. But there's a difference in, paying taxes and
running from taxes.
Yeah, running from taxes.
Well, I'll be straight up with both of you on this call. I want to run from taxes. I'll just be straight up. I don't want to pay much tax either. I don't want to go out there. If you seriously, if you look at like some of the pay chart, you start making $200,000 and $300,000, you are legit paying 60, 50, 60, 70. I honestly, that's a lot of money. It is. So I want to write, if I can write off a bottle of water and a pen, every way possible, I'm gonna try to do that on my tax. So I was trying to land that plane over to you to say, how do you feel about the whole, when becoming an entrepreneur and paying taxes and so on? At the moment you make $1 and realize you got to give up, 20 cents because you made $120,000, I think it's a 20-some% tax. That becomes a lot of money. So my question is, I guess, how would you recommend people manage that with being an entrepreneur, knowing that you can write off that printer that's behind you, that speaker that's behind you, and so on, right?
So yeah, I maximize the tax code. That's what it's there for.
Exactly.
I think it does. If you're a smart business person, you have a smart accountant, right? Like you need that in your life. And it's not you're not avoiding taxes. You're doing what the tax code allows you to do. So as long as you're following the tax code, we're not evading. And while, Donald Trump, I think he was smart in that regard. I'm not mad, right?
No, I'm not him or Bezos, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think
Delta, Airlines, and the rest of them, right?
Right. And so, but the other side of that is, and I think just want to say, they also employ millions of people, right? And they give millions of people jobs. And so for that, they're adding to the economy, right? And so we can look at that as a favorable thing, I guess, in lieu of reduced taxes.
When you're paying $700 in taxes and you make, you're supposed to be a billionaire, that's a problem when you're paying less taxes than the maid that comes and cleans up your room when you go back out. That's a problem. It's a problem for our tax code, though. Right? Like he's not breaking any laws. It's a problem for our code. Look, don't put that out.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna spit her up. You're gonna spit her up.
You remember he still ain't trying to release some tax forms. So but that is still to be determined.
I've noticed just a little the every step you take to step up a little bit more. I'm talking overall financial, and you step up a little bit more as an entrepreneur, and you step up a little bit more. That tax man comes banging on your door hard, and I'll be honest with you, as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you feel it, feel the same pain. It's like, well, man, every time I take 10 steps forward, not a lot, you're taking 2 steps back because here comes the IRS again. It's not like they're setting you all the way back, but it's enough for you to feel it. You stroke one check for $40,000, and I promise you listening to a Donald Trump speech. What'd you say, man? About that? Did you get away with it? Again, you're not trying to avoid, and it's not the people that's entrepreneurs' fault that are trying to take advantage to use the tax code to their advantage. And it's no offense to the maid or the cashier that's a cashier that has to pay more. It's in the middle. It's understanding that tax code, both from a maid and from a business owner, and figuring out how to use that as a tool to benefit.
Right. So, India, what do you have in closing that you would like to share with a piece of advice that you would like to share with everybody about being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. Like I started with, I wanted to say, believe in yourself, right? And invest in yourself. I think those are, and follow your dreams, but do it the smart way. Like really understand and know the business side, because you have people that are really good in their craft, but they're not good in business. And so I say, understand your business. And then just from the financial umbrella, just know that when you're an entrepreneur, you don't get to keep 100% of your money, right? Like for me, I have a split, right? So 100% of my money comes in, I pay myself 50% of that. I don't take 100% of that. I invest 25% back in the business. I save 5% for my profit, like meaning the profit of the business, so that the business can make money at the end of the year. And then 20% reserved for taxes. And then you can true your taxes up at the end of the year, of course, and then whatever you have reserved, you can kind of manipulate that or what have you. But that's the formula that I use throughout the year so that I am safe, and that, I am being a smart business person, and not spending 100% of what I make.
Because people, I think that's where a lot of people get themselves in trouble, is they don't pay the taxes, and then it comes time to do your taxes and you're shit out of luck because you owe the government $20,000, and guess what? They want their money and they don't want to wait for it. And so, I think that it's important that's a really good
and that's why in some business models you actually have to pay quarterly so that you don't fall into that deep
behind
trouble behind.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, you have to be the smart business person. Like you have to understand your numbers. The most successful people understand the financial part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, India, it has been a pleasure to have you on today. We're going to come back for a part 2 because we're going to get everything in today. It's just too much to talk about when you're an entrepreneur and you have your hands in so many different businesses to talk about in one session. So we will have you back in a few weeks to share more of your helpful tips, and hopefully it'll inspire some other people within our community to go after their dreams and not be afraid of possibly falling on your face. Well, yeah, the failure.
And I'll throw another thing out there. If anybody has any questions, drop a comment below, and we'll try to answer those questions in that next session as well.
Yeah. So it has been great having you here on Bros and Sweets Talk today. Hopefully next time when you come back, you'll get to meet our other co-host, Sean, and we will see you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.